Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. We're back on our planetzoo, the zoo that we've been working on. In the last video we were working on our staff areas and sprucing those up and making our little center zone look real cute. And I'm just really happy with how it actually turned out. Our little capybara statue is standing tall and mighty on its podium, and I somehow got the fountains to work and the rock work I'm pretty proud of. And our information center, the only thing is they seem to get stuck here, so I don't know if I should really fix that, but oh well. Also, something I didn't notice until after I finished was our buildings are actually sunken into the ground somehow. So annoying. Don't worry though, I do fix this off camera at some point. I don't think it shows up in this video. I'm pretty sure it'll be the next video. I don't showcase it, but I hope you guys know it is fixed. You might be wondering what we're doing today. If you've seen the thumbnail and the title, then today we are adding a new little guy into our zoo and building them a new home. And that guy is the koala. I've never had them in my zoo before, so I'm pretty excited. We're gonna pop them in this little area here that I've mapped out, as I think they'll be like the perfect kind of entrance animal to pair with our bush dogs. And they're small enough where we don't need a big space for, because it is kind of an awkward gap. So hopefully we can fit them in. Cool. They don't seem to be too needy. We just gotta make sure we have enough of them. They do not like being by themselves. There's not many great options genetic wise. And there's only one female, which but I guess we'll just pick the best male. We'll also pick up this girl, just as she's the only one there, and her genetics are really good apart from her fertility, but I've never really had a problem with that, to be honest. And I think we'll go with the only problem is they're kind of old. I think we'll just get a different one at a different time, see what else pops up. But yeah, so we're gonna get right into the speed build. I played around with quite a few different fences. I ended up using, you'll see in a moment, this quite like natural rustic fence that I found on the workshop, and it has rocks and a bit of foliage, so it looks very natural. So I think it works, and it's good because the koalas, they don't need a whole lot of space, like they don't need a big fence, so I was able to keep it quite low and quite grounded, and I could use the cute little fence gate here, which made it really cute. Here are the remnants of what I was trying to attempt. I just left it in, but I was trying to make it so then maybe the koalas had like an extra little space in the back so they could like climb across the climbing frame over top of the guests, but then I realized it's not going to work out like that because the keepers still need to be able to access that part of the habitat to clean it, so I didn't end up going with that, which I'm really kind of bummed about because it would have been really cool. If you guys know if that is possible, tell me, because I would really like to know how it is, because I was like, oh, I can just put two different entrances, but you can only have one gate, which was kind of frustrating because I wanted them to climb over the guests. I think it would have been so sick and really cool and interactive, but it's alright. I end up turning that little area, I think off camera, into a education spot, so we have like the speaker and the seating there, because for some weird reason the koalas really like going into that part of the habitat. these fence gates are so annoying. Like, I don't know how many times I tried placing it and having to redo this fence to just get the gate to like go in and like place itself properly, and then having to build around it and enough so then it didn't get constant messages saying the koalas had escaped. I would just prefer not to, but oh well, here we are. I do hope that in planetzoo 2 they do let you like have multiple gates. I don't know, it'd be really cool because then it means you could like have a lot more like freedom with making the habitats. But also guys, if you're a fan of the game, I'd really recommend going and doing this survey. There's a planetzoo 2 survey currently out, and you can, there's a bunch of questions and you basically are ranking them, or you pick one or the other. So like, which one out of these is your most wanted or most important to you? And I really hope that we get aquatic animal, like actual like marine animals. I don't know. planetzoo, like Planet Tycoon could do it. If they could do it, I think planetzoo could do it. If the modders can do it, I think there is. I know we're in the ethical zoo here, but I think part of it is they don't really want to deal with like people being annoyed about them having like whales and dolphins in it. But to me, this is a game, so like, you know, I just want to see some belugas. I do have a mod for them, but I will say it is really freaky when they go on land because they're based on like, I think the otter, because if you don't know, when they're modding the animals, they're usually based on a pre-existing mod, like animal like set of behaviors and stuff. That's how they can implement them into the game. And because we don't have a fully aquatic animal, they do go onto land and you need a bit of land. It is really weird to see. But you know, like, it is what it is. I think for the beluga mod that I had, they based it on the seals, which makes sense because they're the most similar to that you're gonna get like to a whale. Also, this is the first time I've made like a climbing frame for a very long time, so it was very finicky, but to be honest, I'm actually quite proud of myself because I know so many planetzoo like YouTubers and stuff that I watch, they're always like making the climbing frames. They're like, this is the worst part, and a lot of them use prefabs. This is no tea, no shade, I'm just saying. But I actually was like, okay, I'm gonna challenge myself and make it myself. And I think it actually came out really cool. I don't know. I wanted it to be like in view for the guests as they were walking past. So hopefully the koalas use it. They seem to really like this other climbing stick I put on the other side of the habitat. I don't know. And once I got to this stage of building, we decided to say welcome to our koalas and put them in the habitat. I think, yeah, just the one. I think I have a female and a male. They are so cute. Oh, I needed to put them in just so I could tell whether or not this climbing frame was usable. This is the one annoying thing, I guess, about planetzoo, is that you can't tell until you put them in there, so then you have to work around them, and if you unpause the game then they're unhappy. But oh well. And by the looks of it, it did seem to be working very well. They can get up there, they can climb, use plenty of space. So yeah, I think we did pretty good on that. And the thing is, we just need a feeder, and I don't have the food enrichment items for them because the koalas only have one, and it's like a eucalyptus plant tree that they can climb up into and they can eat the leaves from, but don't have access to that as I haven't played with a lot of the Australian animals here, and I'm pretty sure they're some of the only ones that would have that. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to research that. I'm pretty sure from memory I do research that. I haven't paused the game as I'm playing because I kept running out of money. Story of my life, guys. This game, I'm just constantly poor. It's because I just want to build and not unpause my game. Because I've currently been working on, as I'm voicing over this, I've been working on the next animal's habitat. I'm not gonna give any spoilers, no spoils, no. But let's just say that most of the time I'm running on like $1,000 at a time, and I'm just like trying to get all these foliages and trees in there, and I'm running out of money. So yeah, after that build, I think we're gonna have to do some gameplay maybe and wait until we have a significant budget, because that habitat I'm building right now is a big one. It is huge, but very cool, and I'm very excited to show you once I'm finished with it. And I'm really proud of this shelter actually. I made it so then the koalas could climb in to the shelter rather than just going for a door. So it felt more like interactive, but also it gave the koalas a lot more climbing space that they could access. And at some point I do put like a little shelving like unit basically like around the edge, so they can sit like on a little balcony in front of like their little shelter, so then the guests can still see them from those angles. This habitat is very like, you get a full 180, no, not 180, 360 view of these guys. There's nowhere to hide, but thankfully they're not too shy, so that's why I think they were like the perfect guys for this sort of build in this area. I also tried adding this door, but then it stopped the keepers from going in, but I thought they could pass through them, which I'm a little bummed about, because then it really made it feel like that kind of old outback shack abandoned place in the Australian bush, but that's alright. If you guys do know if there's a way I can make it workable, that'd be really cool, because I really want to be able to make it look a little bit more like a house rather than an open shed. And I like how the doors give a lot of details to these builds. I don't know, they just really look really nice. Also connected the climbing frame to the shelter to give the koalas a little bit more of a fun access to their shelter and to make everything feel really connected. I know, I just think it's such a fun idea. It's kind of like a little highway for the koalas so they don't have to go on the floor. Because I don't know, I feel like it just feels so like weird having the koalas walking on the ground, because I feel, you know, when I think of koalas, I just think of them being up in the trees, and you know, because there's so many predators on the floor, and because they're not super slow, but they're not very agile, they're easy prey. So I feel like it just seems only right to give them a little bit of a second option to get to safety. I then went and made our keeper hut, and I made it so it kind of matched our information center's vibe. I think it came out really cute, and I also added the foliage roof onto it to make it match with what was next to it, and it kind of hides a little bit so it doesn't give the guests a negative impact, because it is quite close to the guest area. once again I took a little break from building to look at the shop, and wow, an albino koala. Also, there's plenty of female options, so this is good, and they will have pretty like genetics, so they will make a great addition to our koalas. Also, I really wanted to start adding some animal facts into these videos to add an educational factor to them, as I'm quite passionate about animals. So let's dive into some cute koala facts. So if you don't know, koalas aren't actually bears. They're a sort of marsupial which run rampant on Australia. Our koala friends here are actually more closely related to kangaroos and wombats and other sort of marsupials. They are quite interesting. They usually have pouches, and that's how they give birth to their young. While Australia does hold most of our marsupial friends, they have about 2/3 of the marsupial species, as marsupials are also found in parts of South America and Southeast Asia. Also, something interesting I found out about koalas is they are actually solitary animals. They prefer to stay by themselves within overlapping home ranges, so they do overlap with each other, so they do see each other, but they tend to stick by themselves and take care of themselves in that way. And also, koalas sleep for a very long time. Like, they can sleep up to 18 hours a day. So that is majority of their day they're sleeping. It's mainly because koalas mainly eat eucalyptus, which isn't a very high in nutrient food source, so they're constantly eating that, and that's usually why they have such low energy levels. I ended up adding these cute little signs around the habitat to like the guests know that the koalas were here, and I like the little road sign vibe of them. They're very cute. So I dotted them around the habitat once I built a standing sign that wasn't wonky anymore. And lastly, we finally unlocked the eucalyptus enrichment item, so I had plonked that down for the koalas to use as the last touches to their habitat. Guys, welcome to our finished koala habitat. Here we have the shelter and we have some enrichment here. The koalas seem to really like to sit here. They're all here. That's why this area seems to get quite crowded, which fair enough. It's nice and sunny. It's a good little spot for them to hang out. We have the exit to our shelter. They look pretty cute in their information picture. A eucalyptus tree. The sign's getting in my way. And here's our climbing frame. Hopefully they end up spreading out a little bit and using this, as that would be really cool to see them play and climb. And it means hopefully the guests will be a bit more spread out, because I do think they may get a bit congested. And here's the inside of our shelter. I used a lot of rocks and this log wood thing material. And here we have the entranceway and into the rest of the habitat. But yeah, so that will be everything for today, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we will be working on another animal habitat. See you later. Bye.